Good morning, everyone. I'm Craig Studnicki, President of RelatedISG International Realty, welcoming you to another Insider Series. Today, we have Valentina Maddaluno.
Yay.
I got it right.
Yes, you did.
As one of your colleagues, my colleague in RelatedISG, and for that matter, a colleague to the real estate industry here in South Florida, as our next guest on the Insider Series. Valentina, welcome.
Well, thank you,
So
Craig.
so nice to have you here. We were supposed to be in Edgewater today, but I understand that Liz Lopez is doing some remodeling of the office, so we're here today in Aventura. Hopefully I'll have a chance to get to the Edgewater office next week as we interview somebody else,
Sure.
another member of the RelatedISG team. It's so nice to have you here. You know, part of the purpose of the Insider Series is for you to share with everybody inside RelatedISG a little bit about you. Your family here at RelatedISG. But as I just said, your family extends a little outside of RelatedISG because you work with the real estate community here in South Florida. We produce, as you know, the Miami Report.
Yes.
And I produce it on behalf of RelatedISG, but we share it with the real estate community throughout South Florida. It's one of the aspects of the culture of our company. So with all that said, let's learn a little bit about you.
Okay.
Where are you from?
Okay, so, well, I was born in La Spezia. La Spezia is a small town in Liguria, a region northwest of Italy.
Of Italy.
Yes. It touches the French Riviera. So I was
nice.
born there. Yeah, small town. And then because of my father's business, we were moved to Tuscany, another small town by the water in Tuscany.
Not just another small town, a fantastic romantic town.
Yes, a beautiful town. Yes.
And then you stayed there. I guess I think you told me earlier you helped your dad with some beach business that he had.
Yes. So as I mentioned, my dad had to change business, and so we moved to Marina di Pietrasanta, and he purchased a beach club. And so that's where I started cultivating my love for hospitality and customer service. I started working in a small restaurant. We had a small restaurant and bar by the beach, as well as the beach club. So you could rent tents and umbrellas and space on the sand. And that's how I started my experience of work when I was 16, 17.
I have a feeling that our listeners are going to want this interview to last a lot longer than our typical, say, 10 to 15 minutes just to listen to your beautiful accent.
Well,
but we do have a little...
I think I've lost it, but I still have.
No, trust me, I haven't lost
a little
it.
bit. Okay.
It's so nice to hear. Reminds me of my trips to Italy.
Oh.
When did you come to the United States?
So I came in 2001, and I actually went straight to Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, the warm weather.
The warm weather, exactly. And I did my bachelor degree there. So I finished in business administration, but I also did my hospitality minor. So that was my adventure in Boston. But then I continued to stay for another 10 years.
In Boston?
Yes.
And you worked for who?
And I'm sorry?
You worked for...
Oh, I was still... So after I graduated college, I started working for the Ritz-Carlton company.
Okay.
So...
That's hospitality at the highest level.
Correct,
Yeah.
yes. So right after I graduated, I was already working for the Park Plaza, another very legendary hotel in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And then I interviewed with Ritz-Carlton right after getting my degree, and I was hired, and I started my adventure in hospitality.
So 10 years more in Boston,
Mm-hmm.
10 years more of brutal cold winters,
Yes.
but 10 years more of being in one of the most energetic cities in America.
Yes, loved it.
It's a fantastic town.
Fantastic.
Greatest college town
Yes.
in the United States
Oh,
as well.
yes,
You were
yes.
very fortunate to go to school there.
Very fortunate, very blessed, yes.
But then you moved here to sunny South Florida.
Yes,
And what was it that motivated you to come to Miami?
definitely the weather.
Pretty much works for everybody.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And no state tax, I mean.
Okay, all of a
that's
sudden.
bonus
Oh,
too, yeah.
so even then we were starting to learn about tax planning.
Yes.
And what year was that, would you say?
That was in 2013. I moved to Florida.
And you came to Florida still with hospitality.
Yes, I was
Okay.
still working in hospitality, but I had a very clear plan in mind to get myself involved in real estate as an investor, not as a realtor per se. So
Okay.
I decided to get my license because I wanted to gain more knowledge of the business.
Very smart.
But my idea originally was to just get my license to be able to buy properties, to flip them myself and resell. And so I started my career in real estate as an investor.
As an investor.
Correct.
A little time consuming, isn't it?
Oh, very confusing. I mean, and all the waves of learning and putting your money out there, your
Yeah.
personal investment out there. So
You go to bed thinking about it. You wake up thinking about it.
oh yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. You wake up at 3 a.m. thinking about it. You go back. It was a lot, but I loved it. I loved all of it.
And then from there, you decided to transition to real estate sales.
Yes.
And who was the first company that you went to work for?
So I registered my license with Weicker Realtors, and
Okay.
that's where I actually met my former mentor, Eduardo Bleiberg, who's also a broker associate here at
RelatedISG. Yes.
And it was actually my anchor here to transfer to RelatedISG.
Ultimately to RelatedISG.
Yes.
So he got you started, and he was your mentor.
He was my mentor.
And he was
my
your
good
coach.
friend. Yes, yes.
But who was it? Was it Eduardo that recruited you to come to RelatedISG?
So after Weicker Realtors, I worked in a team at BHS.
Brown Harris Stevens. Great brand from New York.
Great. Yes, yes. I honor that experience. I'm very blessed to have had that experience. And after that, I was ready to go work solo again. And so I was actually showing one of my listings, and I met Carolina Gertz. And she brought one of her buyers to show my listing. And she almost recruited me on the spot, I'll be honest. And she said, why don't you come and work with us? And I said, wow, that's great. I said, actually, Eduardo Bleiberg also moved with RelatedISG. I have a lot of respect for him. And so that's kind of like everything started almost parallel.
Folks, Carolina's here with us today. So, Carol, you still got it. Your recruiting touch is insurmountable. And I'm so glad you did. I'm so glad you did. Listen, one of the things I've learned about RelatedISG, I should say even general real estate, since I've been president for, I guess, 100 days now, since my predecessor, Alex Vidal, went to Dallas. Yeah, thank you. I really didn't know much about general real estate 100 days ago, I must admit to you. I've learned a lot about it now, a lot about it. And I'm sure that someone like you have been called upon by some of our competitors.
Yes.
Have you ever considered a career with XYZ, but you stay with RelatedISG? Yes. Would you please share, not just with your colleagues, but for your new president as well?
Absolutely.
What is it about RelatedISG that you like so much?
Sure. And I'm very happy to share this because it comes from the heart. I think through pandemic, my intuition revealed to be true about RelatedISG. I had a sense of community as soon as I joined the company. So there was a lot of support system, genuine support system. Everybody's always available. And through pandemic, we all felt, especially in the beginning, the first 2 months, where, they were a little bit scary. There was a lot of uncertainty, and we all felt pretty isolated, I think. I definitely did. And to have that engagement weekly, or sometimes even daily, with trainings, with Zoom meetings, and other things of this nature, they kept you accountable, and they kept you engaged, and they actually made you feel hopeful for things to change in terms of the business to start picking up again, and just being aware of the numbers, and maybe be creative in new procedures. Like, okay, this is happening, but maybe starting tomorrow, we're going to start showing properties with masks.
And you're saying that with masks and
with gloves, or maybe
sanitizers.
we limit showings to 2-3 days a week. But it gave me perspective on, okay, you know what, this is happening, but we're going to be okay. We're going to pull through together.
That's so nice to hear, because I'm going to tell you, in a 2020 COVID world,
Yes.
nobody knew what to do. There's
Nobody knew.
no
Nobody
book
had
in the library you can take off the shelf.
Correct.
So we just brought our humanness to it
Yes.
and put our face to the problem,
Yes.
and we did it collectively, because we
thank you.
really do try to foster a sense of family here,
Yes.
while at the same time trying to run a profitable business. And sometimes those are competing ideas.
They are.
But you're telling me that we more or less we're doing okay.
There was a great balance. I think you did a phenomenal job. Honestly.
It's wonderful.
All of you.
It's wonderful to hear.
And Alex.
Alex, no,
Before he even left.
we miss him. He has tremendous energy.
Yes.
And tremendous heart. He's in Dallas, and who knows, maybe in a year or two he misses Miami. Who
We'll
knows?
see.
It'd be nice if that were to happen.
Yes.
We always end this particular interview with what we call the golden nugget.
Okay.
And that is, especially in a year like 2020, Valentina, we've all been confronted with some ridiculous headwinds that's affected us financially, emotionally,
Right.
spiritually. You too. So what is it every day, every week, every month that gets you through the challenges that particularly 2020 has presented to you?
Sure. That's a very good question. I think for me, it's always been my why, my personal why. And my personal why is to be able to support my family. I'm very blessed to have had amazing parents and grandparents that are still alive. And so, yes, I'm very fortunate to still have them. And so, you go through the waves of business. There's good days, there's not so good days. And you just try to stay focused on your ability to give back. So for me to be able to give back to them and say, okay, my mother just got married like last month, and I was able to get a honeymoon, and be able to do these things. This is my engine. This is what pushes me every day. And also I try to be focused on my own energy. I believe in energy, and I think that we all need to be aware of the energy that we bring to the table. So especially even real estate, when things, when people have money on the plate, there is a lot of emotions that come to play.
Yes.
And it's natural that is the case.
Mm-hmm.
So if we stay calm, cool, and collected as agents, we're kind of like the director of the orchestra, and we can set the tempo and the mood of the deal. So if we're aware of our energy and we're able to stay calm, we're going to receive calm back. And so that's something that I always try to stay centered and aware of that. When things start getting a little bit off track and emotions come to play, I try to just refocus on myself and be like, I'm doing the best job that I can. I'm trying to deliver the best excellent service that I can. And I can go to sleep with myself okay with that at night. And that's sufficient to carry on.
Valentina, it's impolite for a man to ever ask a woman how old she is, so I'm not going to ask. But that golden nugget was so spectacular that you are clearly wise beyond your years. And I'm currently reading a book right now that actually does speak to the why and how important that is. When you have a why in your heart, the how doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter.
Somehow you figure it out, right?
Yes.
I really want to thank you so much for this interview today. I actually think you may have even raised the bar for future interviews on the Insider Series. But I think all of your colleagues at RelatedISG are going to be really, really happy to watch this and know that someone like you represents not just RelatedISG, but them as well, because you are, in fact, a colleague of theirs, a colleague of mine. I want to thank you all very much for attending today, and we'll see you next week on the next edition of the Insider Series. Bye-bye now.